Start of week 5. How is that possible? That has gone by so fast. Still so much to do. But we have a list. We've kind of been all over the place and sporadic and going through these times of not being motivated, times of like not necessarily knowing what to do since there is a lot to do. So I got a list in my hand right here and we're just going to start tackling it. Of course we want to work on the house. We know that's like a major important thing is to have a place to live. But right now we're kind of at a standstill until we get a little bit more advice. So we're going to start on the other things. We need to still get a lot of things cleaned up. We still need to get these. We've missed the growing season, but we need to prep the beds and get the grounds ready for the spring, so that we can start growing and start getting animals. So there's plenty to do. Oh, and Marcus bought a riding lawnmower. We weren't sure if we really needed one, but it's like, yeah, we eventually the field over there, the pasture, we're hoping that we won't need to mow that once we start planting more. Won't be as much grass, but we still have all of the outside of our house along the fence lines. And we've had really great neighbors. One of our neighbors, Mike, and one Jim, they've both helped out by just mowing it and telling us, hey, we mowed it for you. We're grateful, but time we mow it, take care of it. So Marcus did the research, trying to figure out the best, what to look for in a used lawnmower.
Yep, it's a Troy built pony. So this is my little pony.
What are some pointers for looking for a used lawnmower that you found helpful?
Look at just the overall condition of it. Make sure that it's not all beat up and everything. Just visual walk around it. But also checking the blade, to make sure that it doesn't. If you grab hold of the edge of it and you do it up and down like this, that it doesn't do that. It's not supposed to do that.
Do what? Wiggle?
Wiggle
okay,
up
so
and
it
down.
should be
Yeah.
taut.
Yeah, otherwise the bearings are going out. Check the air filter and spark plug and just general the things that you'd have to replace. Check the belts, make sure that they're not rotting and that they're not too loose. This one, we went over it pretty good, and it's 10 years old, so it's certainly not like new, but it's in really good shape. It runs really well. It sounds good too, so I think today I'm going to mow the area out here with it, and then probably that's probably all we're going to need to do for the rest of this year, and then next week I'll probably winterize it, get it ready to put up.
All right, first thing today, we're moving all these pallets to the other giant stack of pallets. This was kind of set out here as a little porch. He had a tent over it, so we don't need that right now, so we're going to move all of those. This over here has been Marcus's eyesore. He's going crazy. But just step by step. So over here was a bunch of wood piled up. It's a mixture of tree limbs that can be burnt, some pallets that can be burnt that's not treated, and then stuff that's treated that shouldn't be burnt. So we are sorting through that because while I know a lot of people burn everything, for us we just don't want to do anything that has toxins in it and putting it in the air and the ground, because with the burn barrels we will use the ash on the property. And so yeah, we're just trying to sort this out. This over here are logs. We're going to go through those. Hopefully we'll be able to use a lot of those back behind those pallets to build with. Here we have our section of weeds that we've been pulling out, leaves, and then tree limbs. So all of this will hopefully we'll get to it here in the next couple of weeks to prepare the land for gardening for the spring. I'm going through each garden bed right now. It is pretty clear that Charlie, the previous owner, who passed away, that he was a master gardener. So the only problem is I can't ask him questions, and so we are trying to identify what everything is. We're still beginners in this, in both foraging and also in what people have planted or what has been planted. So we have multiple books identifying plants, and then my sister also introduced me to this app right here. And it is a paid app. I think it was like $30 for the year, but we felt like it was worth it because it gives so much information on the plant, and also when to plant it, when to harvest it, issues with it. And so at this point, I'm just drawing out each garden bed. Wanted to do that before everything died back in the winter. I think that's important just so we know what everything is and make sure that we are winterizing it correctly, and then we will know when the spring comes out about what we can plant with it. And so I know that there will probably be things that we don't recognize or that we get wrong, but I think it'll help us. So at this point, I'm just going through each little vignette, each little garden bed. There's garden beds all over, and identifying, writing it down, and starting to do my best at taking care of them. So this garden bed is the one right by our tiny house, and so I've gone through and pretty much identified everything that's in here. So a couple different things. So for one, this right here, I can't remember what it's called. I'll write it on the screen. It looks like the leaves are rotting and dying, so I am going to cut those back, and I will discard all of those leaves. I won't put those in with anything, and so that way we're not going to transfer that to any other plants. However, over here you can see we have a ton of lemon balm, not only in this bed but in other beds, and so I'm going to attempt, I don't know, these might be from 2 years ago, so I don't know if there's really any seeds in them or not, but we're going to go ahead. I'm going to cut them back. I'm just collecting, I don't know if you can see, there's a pile right there, collecting those, and we're going to try and get some seeds out of those for next year. This area is cut back pretty well. Got most of the lemon balm, the ones that had gone to seed, I got most of them out except for on this back side. Still need to get all of those. It's kind of wild. And then pretty much cut down this, it's Cramp Bark. I did not realize that's what it was, but it needed to be pruned, and I'm hoping that even with it cutting down that much, that it'll come back. There's still a few branches on there, but the leaves were not looking great, wasn't blooming like it should have, so it's probably it's probably from a couple of years ago. It hasn't been pruned. But I'm hoping I can still get the cramp, or the bark out for the Cramp Bark. The Cramp Bark is very medicinal. In fact, I just ordered some from my favorite herb shop, which is Mountain Rose Herbal. But if I can be growing my own, that's incredible. So it really helps with any kind of like muscle spasms. It does help with cramps, menstrual cramps, and that's why I ordered it, to see if that will help. It can also help with just anything that could be spasms, even like eye twitches, when you go with the crazy eye twitch. So I want to make tinctures out of it, and you use the inside of the bark. So I'm going to do a little bit studying up on that and let you know how that goes. Okay, over here on this area, I already started thinning it out, but you can see there's a brick wall right there. We did not even know that because this is just so overgrown. We even already started cleaning out this out quite a bit, but it's just so overgrown. So I started pulling stuff out of here, but rather than just throwing it away, I don't know if you can see, it all blends in, but these are all different vines, different ivies and climbing vines. So I pulled them out by the root, and I'm going to transplant them into other areas where we would want some vines growing. As I was working on this little area, I was just trying to uncover stuff. The vines are all over the place, and trying to figure out how to take some out and transplant them. But as I was working through it, I had like a little stick flamingo that was falling over, so I pulled it out and I was going to try and stick it in the ground, and I just kept hitting rock. Well, come to find out, it wasn't rock, it was actually a slab, And so I uncovered it, and it's this like beautiful little sitting area. So that's exciting. Now I'm going to be on the lookout for a chair or 2 chairs. I don't know. What do you think? I think maybe I can fit 2 small chairs, but they wouldn't be really comfortable. So maybe just 1 small chair and a little table. Oh, as you can tell, that is still just a project. I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's just worse, and we're going to have to deal with it at some point. It's like a splinter. Our friend Gina came up today. Gina and Jewel. They're our friends. They live in Arkansas. And she brought up a stew. What'd you call it, stew?
Our Indian. It's an Indian stew.
An Indian stew.
With nut squash and, well, a lot of this is vegetables you helped plant out of our garden, and we are still taking fruit and vegetables out of the garden. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so when we were down in Arkansas, Gina and her husband Jerry spearheaded. Is that the right word? Spearheaded? Spearheaded a community garden, and so we left before it came into harvest. So we're getting some to enjoy some of that harvest now. See them. They look very sad. They've definitely had better days, and I know that I can stake them, but I think they're even past that point of being able to stake. Ideally, to cut them back, I would do that in the spring, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it now and just make a pretty bouquet and hopefully just mulch it well this winter and see how it does. Got your boots in your backpack? Yeah. You're all set. Carly is out here working hard, helping us with the garden beds. Thank you, Carly. Had a fun quick visit from our Colorado friends, soon to be Georgia friends. This is my friend Jody. She's
thankful for the growth in this period of our life, and just lots of learning and patience, and my kids are in online school, which is awesome. We can travel and just new experiences that have really given us a different perspective on life, and what we need and what we want, or versus what we want, and just learning to appreciate less, and just dive into lean into God, and getting past the moments that are hard, and learn to smile through the rest. And
so it's good. It's good to have friends, near and far, and when we get to visit, to encourage one another. And so hope this is encouraging to anybody who's watching right now, whether you're going through a challenging time, or whether you just need to pick up the phone and call somebody, or have the same, just hold on to those friendships and encourage one another. Are you ready to hear about our newest venture and business? We're opening a lamp shop. We already have inventory. We are stocked, and we are opening a lamp shop. It's called Lamps Are Us. So all you need to do is give us a phone call and tell us what lamp you want, and it's yours. Okay, I have been pretty horrible at recording the process of pruning and nurturing everything in our yard and property. So I just want to give you a quick rundown of some of the things that we're doing. We've just been going around and taking pictures. So for instance, I just wanted to show you for this one plant, I'm not going to talk about everything to make this short. So it obviously needs pruned. I actually started pruning it. You can see it's right there, but it was like super, super wild. So I was like, okay, it needs to be pruned before we move into the winter. Ideally, probably in the spring, but we're doing what we can do. So at that point, I do the picture this, find out what it is. It has a lot of information on it. And then I go and we'll search it. See, does this plant have medicinal uses? Is it edible? What can you do with it? So for this one, the berries that come out are edible. But it also talked about with the branches that you could use it to make a broom. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to make a broom. Maybe I'm not. When we start taking things down, or when you're in the forest or foraging or whatever, just learn, look around. If you haven't heard of the book Ourselves by Charlotte Mason, I highly encourage that book. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. But we're reading it in school right now, and it's been so good because we're doing it and I'm sitting there thinking about, because it's talking about having ears to hear and eyes to see. As I'm watching right now, there's a bird flying above me, and just being present and seeing and hearing all of the different things. So observing what you have or what is around you and figuring out uses for it, because there's uses for pretty much everything around us. God has given us so much, and it blows my mind that he thought through all of this, and that people thought through all of this before all of the modern day luxuries, in nature. Everything that he created for it's all usable. So okay, I will stop there for now. I could do a whole video on that, but I'll stop because I just get too excited. But I just wanted to give you a little piece of what, as we go around everything. I mean, look at this, you guys. This is all craziness. Some of this stuff has got to go. We're not going to keep all of that. But I guarantee you, rather than just chopping it down and throwing it in the fire or in a place to compost it or in the dump, I guarantee you a lot of this stuff can be used. So that's exciting.